Good evening, welcome, hi. You only just made that, didn't you?
No.
Nobody else can tell, but behind the scenes, Penny was literally just.
No, I'm not going to be made to feel bad. Utter nonsense. He's talking tripe, people.
Welcome, good evening. Thank you for joining us. Oh, quick, we've got comments. Marion's already here. Good evening, Marion, our number one fan.
Hi, Marion.
Marion's asking, are you feeling better, Penny?
Yeah, a lot better than I was, but still not quite there. If I've ever actually been there.
Where?
Got normal, well.
Oh, that's what you mean. Fair enough. Right, tonight's a special one. Tonight is a special night. This video is a special video, and not because I'm in it.
Special.
This is our 100th video upload to YouTube.
Is it really?
Our 100th video.
100th?
Yeah. How have we not gone viral?
How have we not gone viral? Because we're old people and we talk complete and utter twaddle.
No, in the last few days, I've been looking over all our original old videos when we first started and how naive I think I was. I don't know how you feel about it, but I think I was quite naive to how YouTube and social media worked.
To be fair, didn't really give it a lot of thought. Just wanted to throw you in at the deep end, so I did.
Yeah, because none of this was my idea at all. Nothing. I did not think this was a great idea at all.
Can I just say, I'm glad that this camera isn't very clear, this version of StreamYard that we're
So
on.
warm in here.
I'll tell you why. Because look at this. What is all of this grey? Good grief.
Because you're wise.
Well, that says I'm really bloody wise. I think I need to dye it. What do you think? Should we have a poll? Shall I fake being young?
No.
No. All right then.
Anyway, going back to the fact it's our 100th upload.
Woo.
I can think of the topics, how many topics we've covered.
I don't know. I don't think we've done many repeats of things.
I don't think so. Our first video upload was 28th of February 2021.
Yes, I remember.
I had to look back. It was dark. We recorded it on my phone.
We was in a different house. We were squeezed in, and yet still not as hot as it is now.
Yeah.
It's very bizarre. I did say I was going to get myself a little desktop fan. If anybody wants to donate one to me, absolutely send it.
So yeah, since 28th of February 2021, we've done 100 uploads onto here. That's not including the separate things that you've done. And my channel with men's mental health stuff as well.
We've done, if we'd only covered one piece of information per show, that's 100 pieces of information about the paranormal, the magical, the mystical.
Yeah.
And all of those things, if we'd only covered one topic per show, but we haven't.
But there's the dark side. Yeah, we've done a lot of topics, shared our opinions quite candidly. But there's a dark side to the YouTube and the social media. There's algorithms and monetary stuff and monetization and copyright.
That work for us though, love.
And copyright. And if you put anything in there that's music, you get copyright infringement emails. And sort of looking at the stats of our channel as just a kind of bog standard, run of the mill, two crazy people sharing their opinion.
Crazy?
As targets, we've never got over more than 30 likes.
Really?
We've never had more than 100 views.
That's quite sad.
Yeah, I know.
Now I'm all depressed. I was proper cheering.
But that's the dark side of this, is that you think because it's out on the internet, everybody's going to see it. No.
Only weirdos like us. So.
Because unless people know what they're searching for, they're only going to find it if the algorithm throws it up onto their newsfeed for something. So
we've got a few viewers early on. We don't generally have a few early on, so quite happy about that. Wondering how many of you have come over to spy from my lovely TikTok. Because I obviously had a conversation about tonight with one of the lovely ethereal people online this morning.
Oh, right.
So,
going back to your previous bit, Marion saying don't diet.
Highlights, no. I've never had light coloured hair. In my youth, I did streaks. It was not great. I look very...
Normal service will resume shortly.
Shush, me and Marion are in a chat.
So there's positives and there's negatives. The positives are we've done them. The information is there. The negatives are it's a lot more time consuming than people think it is. Editing a video, putting a video out there.
Quite a number of them. There was a lot of research that went in to the content. So if we were going to give you some information about something, we really researched on it, made sure that we had it from numerous sources. We didn't just go, let's have a little pop on Wikipedia and see what's on there, because we all know Wikipedia is true. We looked in a few different places and worked hard, and there are copious, ridiculous, nonsensical notes everywhere that we've written so that we can present you with information that makes sense, that's true, or as true as it can be.
But it's hard work.
It's a lot of time.
So because of that, I wanted to say thank you for those that have subscribed, those that are giving us that little bit of encouragement, that little like, or when somebody puts a comment, I don't know, that's where the rush of endorphins come in. So, but on a more cheery note, the subject of tonight, which we'll come to in a bit, is...
I have no idea what tonight is about.
Is sacrifices.
Oh.
That's going to be our rolling topic.
I am apologising in advance. Who knows where this is going to go?
So what's been your favourite venue you've been to? And within that 100 videos, which one's your favourite?
I'm not sure I've got a favourite particularly, because I like it when we go out. I liked the live...
Don't let her out very often.
No, it's true. I'm not allowed out in public.
I have to carry cards to give people.
That say, she's special. She doesn't mean it. I liked that churchyard that we went to in Northampton.
Oh, the one near Corby.
Yeah, I liked that one a lot. Even though we had some technical issues, I think that was a really good one. I enjoyed that one. It was an undisturbed one, and it was somewhere we hadn't been previously, that I didn't know, and there was a lot that came through. Definitely somewhere to return to.
Mine would be the Hellfire Caves.
I didn't go there.
No, I know. I was just thinking that's my favourite venue, but as far as like us videos we've done would be,
if you could include me and not random people from really well-known televised teams.
That is one of our videos,
great.
though.
Shout out to the lovely Mickey the Ghost Hunter if you're about.
What was I saying?
Hellfire Caves.
Oh, the church ruins over at Malton.
Oh, you do love it there, don't you?
Yeah, I like it there. It's got a peaceful kind of atmosphere. It's nice for grounding there.
Yeah.
And that's where we did our first external live.
Yeah. It went surprisingly well.
Yeah, that went quite well.
Yeah.
So it's a long old slog doing this. And I prefer doing these lives because these are minimum effort. Because I don't have to think of a script. If I try and plan too much, but don't get me wrong, I have got some notes, but if I try and plan too much, I end up too rigidly stuck to stuff, and I like to be able to go off the tangent.
No shit, Sherlock.
So go on, ask me about sacrificing.
Don't want to.
Go on, ask me about it.
I don't want to.
Who wants to hear about sacrificing?
Okay, what triggered your interest and wanting to talk about it most recently? What sparked you to go, oh yeah, well, let's talk about that?
Because I can see a juxtaposition in it. When I can see both sides of an argument for and against something, I kind of go, okay, so what's your justification for it? And also, to do with terminology.
Yeah.
When we immediately think of the sacrifice, we think it's like Indiana Jones, and it's got to be a virgin maiden strapped to something, looking, and she's being sacrificed to some deity or god on high.
Or to Satan.
And that's that
Lucifer,
grandiose
or Beelzebub.
Hollywood sort of look. And then my brain went, didn't Jesus sacrifice himself on the cross? And that's the hook that got my brain. So yeah.
Right.
So tell me, do you want to know about sacrifices?
Completely unrelated to that, I did read if Jesus really was true, they wouldn't have called it a crucifixion. It would have been a crucifact.
Boom.
Heard that today. Just tickled me for
that
no
alone.
reason.
Just that joke alone needs a subscribe, a like, a follow.
More grandma jokes. There's plenty of those about. But it was interesting because you're saying terminology. We were watching something and somebody said, oh, it's about sacrifice, and span off on some kind of tangent of what he believed sacrifice meant. And then you looked confused because you know better and then looked at me and went, what does sacrifice mean?
Yeah, when something hits like that, my brain goes, hold on a minute. Either I completely don't understand a word I think I know,
yeah,
or that person's just scrambled my brain. And this person they'd scrambled my brain completely.
For sure.
Which TikTok's really good at. A lot of social media is really good at that when they're like this with a little microphone thing. Fact. And then they start their floating head around some post. Like
should
that.
we do this?
Nope. Should we do some ASMR?
I don't know, I'm quite old to be doing nonsense like that when I have a conversation. So, sacrifice.
Sacrifices. Right. The first thing I think of when I think of sacrifice is not what's classed as a bloodless sacrifice. So my first thought when it comes to a sacrifice of something is either food and drink. So if like deities of mine, if I wanted to give an offering, a sacrifice to a deity, say Odin, it would be mead, or to be fair, the last time was a Newcastle Brown. The time before that was a shot of whiskey. It's fine. It's all good. It's me giving something up to my deity, an offering. Then there is the more macabre side of it, which is the blood sacrifices. And those, they cover just about every religion. Christianity had it because Jesus sacrificed himself, which, without going into too much random detail, well, this is the thing. It creates a divide between God, the man. He sacrifices himself for all of the sins. But then there is also Christians within Christians that dispute all of that. And then you've got the differences between people leaving Jesus sacrificed on the cross or removed from the cross because he was resurrected. So, but then the majority of sacrifices are chickens, geese, cattle,
I think that's the thing.
horses.
Automatic assumptions when you talk about sacrifice, you're right, it's the virgin tied to a table.
Because that's all that appears in films.
Because it's all about worshipping the devil and about witchcraft with no understanding about the craft at all. And on top of that, you then think of
really warm in here.
Films that have voodoo in them. So it is the chickens, cutting off a chicken head.
Yeah. But here's where a part of the juxtaposition comes in. I will come back to that in a minute. I mean, because like I say, most religions actually touch on that subject. And just to name a few, there's a number of Chinese religions. Hinduism has it, Islam has it, Judaism has it. It's everywhere. It's pretty much in all religions, but it doesn't have to be an animal. It's not always a blood sacrifice, and that's kind of what I want to stress in my kind of logic with sacrifice is me giving something up. So going somewhere and throwing bread into the forest and then throwing a glass of whiskey or beer, that's still a sacrifice. I mean, the chances are it's going to get eaten by whatever's in there.
Sacrifice of something that is of value. So Beltane previously, I've made mulled cider, and I've made it, so I've sacrificed my time and my ingredients at a time when ingredients weren't easy to come by because we were in lockdown and there was nothing in the shops whatsoever. And then I sacrificed that to the earth and to the tree.
And then you've got Christians who have Lent, so they have to give something up. It's anything. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm stretching certain aspects of the semantics of the word, but it is about you offering something up, giving something up to show faith to a deity or God, an offering of some sort. But here's a slightly different angle on it. Let's follow down the kind of sacrifice route. What animal do we sacrifice at Christmas?
Depends on where we come from, but generally
We have a turkey on the table.
it's a turkey.
So we have an animal sacrifice because we're celebrating something. Most sacrifices revolve around a celebration of something. So although Hollywood has this kind of sacrifice to something and they burn or they're flayed or they're eaten by a big monster, the majority of it was a gathering, it was a party. The pig was sacrificed, but part of it was eaten by the rest of the tribe. It wasn't all just given away or thrown or burnt and wasted. Part was the offering, part was to keep. What about Halloween?
Oh,
We
wait,
put
before you move
pumpkins-
away from that, you're absolutely right. You didn't throw it away. You would drain the blood, and you could farmers could mix it in with soil.
Yep.
To encourage fertility within the soil for the next year's growth.
Yeah, I didn't want to touch on especially what our lot did with blood. We'll talk about that another night.
No.
So Halloween, pumpkins, toffee apples, these celebrations, harvest time where we go and we give something to the church because it goes.
Harvest festival.
Yeah, they're sacrificing something. When people do communion, they have the blood of Christ, body of Christ. It's receiving of a sacrifice.
Yeah.
It's
acknowledging a sacrifice.
Barbecues, just going to your friend's house, having a barbecue where there is meat and drink is a form of social gathering, and that fits kind of loosely in the same thing if you're all singing off the same hymn sheet. I don't mean that, obviously, just going to your next door neighbour's house.
Shouldn't say
For
hymn
garden.
sheet.
Don't go
Some
around in
people-
your full sacrifice regalia,
No.
and you'll get chucked out.
Some people don't sing hymns, so you shouldn't have said hymn sheet either. So apologies.
But one of the biggest, although I have blamed Hollywood quite a bit for the glamorization, storytelling, and that's what we want Hollywood for. I wish they'd write some better bloody stories at the minute.
It's interesting.
It's gone flat at the
That's the
moment.
thing. If you play up the scary aspect of it, the fear factor of it, it makes it interesting.
Well, that's what I'm just coming to. Do you know who did it? Do you know where it started?
Where what started?
All the bad mouthing propaganda about certain groups of people that sacrifice people. It started really mainly with the Aztecs and the Mayans. Do you know the Egyptians banned it? I found a contradiction. They banned it, but they were quite happy to lock their slaves in. When they'd finished building the tomb of the person they were servant to, they all got locked in. But that wasn't a sacrifice.
That was kind of like,
So
does anybody volunteer and get pushed forward?
Well, the Aztecs, people did volunteer. If you were an Aztec or a Mayan, that was considered a noble thing to do.
The Vikings as well.
Yep, that was again considered quite noble because you're giving everything of yourself. I tend to always say
That's loyalty, isn't it? So if anything happens to me, you're going to hurl yourself into the ground with me.
fucking right, you ain't leaving me here alone. Jesus Christ, not happening.
I'm not sure I'm going to do the same thing.
But
Silence.
During my research with this, the majority of the propagandous writing comes from when the Christians were kind of pushing their agenda worldwide. So terms like pagan, heathen, and things that were always associated with the dark opposite side of religion. Religion's considered to be true and heathenism and paganism's not a religion, so it didn't have that. So a lot of that came from that, and it was just tagged to the foreign folk, the land dwellers,
the heathens,
yeah,
who were of the land.
Yeah. So, but there was in the Poetic Eddas and what's his name? Sturry Stolson. I can never get his name right. The other poem. I got that complete. I ballsed that up totally there. But the Proto-Norse period, kind of really, really, really early Norse, yeah, there were sacrifices. Like I said, kind of the same time, roughly, as Aztecs and Mayans. And they were on opposite ends of the spectrum, the world.
Yeah.
But there was still the same kind of religious practices going on, even though there wouldn't have been that much contact between tribes. Yeah, if any. So I found it quite interesting. But like I said, the majority of sacrificing is to do with food and drink and your time. Odin famously sacrificed his own eye for all the knowledge, but he had to hang off a tree for 40 days and bleed with a cut that he endured himself.
Oh, he was just a man.
That was his sacrifice.
That was just a man saying, "Look how much I'm willing to give up to be all powerful."
That's what he was prepared to do to get away from Freya for 40 days.
Steady now.
I'll just hang myself
There's
here.
a tree out the front. I'm just putting it out there. I'm quite good with knots.
So yeah, so to sum it all up, sacrificing goes on in all religions, and it still actually goes on now. There is. I'll let you. I'm not going to give you any names of groups. There is a religion in Spain that do it, and although it's frowned upon by the locals that are not within that kind of practice, it still has to happen sometimes because of their right for religious expression.
Sorry, is that blood sacrifice?
Yeah.
Right.
Not of people.
Because
not a human
of
blood sacrifice. Yeah. So it's an animal but it's done publicly.
Because yes, all religions have an aspect of sacrifice that isn't blood related.
That's because we're all. Well, I'm saying we're all. Religions have this kind of, and this is my argument. It's kind of why I wear T-shirts like this. I don't want a God that I have to be on my hands and knees praying to for their help, their forgiveness, their. The gods I've connected with are, show me it then. Get on with it, do it.
Right, and I'm going to look at this now from a completely
It's on me to do it, not them.
perspective. I'm going to look at this now from a psychological perspective, in that nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves. It is far easier to put responsibility in somebody else's hands, because then if it goes wrong, you can't get the blame. The finger can't be pointed at you. So if you have gods or a god that you are giving sacrifice to, you are making offerings to, you are basically saying, when it comes down to it, you're the one that decides. When you pray and you ask for things, you're asking somebody that you believe can deliver those things, therefore they are better than you and therefore more responsible than you. So when things go wrong, you can't say, oh, I'll hold my hands up, that's because I'm a rubbish person and I actually was a bit rubbish then and that's my fault. You can go, oh God,
moves in mysterious ways.
These things are sent to try us, amongst other things. So I think from a psychological perspective, it's a very powerful way of controlling people. You feel obliged then. You've done it once. You've given a sacrifice. For it to become a ritual, you have to do it more than once. So then you are compelled to do it at the same time of day, same time of the month, same time of the year, every year, and you are compelled to do it.
But they've only got to have done it once in, 11 AD and decided to slaughter a goat one evening in autumn, and then the weather was good, the crop was good, the correlation, because there's not much else going on in the world for them, is, well, that was obviously what we need to do. So cause and effect for things. But I didn't touch on the worst kind of sacrifice.
Is it cake?
Who's sacrificing cake?
Not me.
Cults. when they do group suicides. That's a mass sacrifice to whatever it is.
That's
Whether
quite
they're
a difficult one.
whether they feel they're ascending or being transported, or it's just for the love of the person that's told them to do it.
Or it's because they're completely brainwashed and they believe that it is the rapture, it is the end of the world.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the psychology of where we get to with that. I mean, we could delve into the psychology of why a weird Aztec person thought it was a privilege to be murdered. It's like, what kind of society do you need to live in where...
Did we all notice that was a subtle shut your face?
No, not at all. What I'm saying is we can't look too deeply into the psychology behind it.
No.
Because we're just not there. Society now, what things do we sacrifice now that is going to affect us in the future?
Relationships with our families.
Yeah.
And friends and social interaction. That would definitely have an impact at some point in the future. That is, of course, unless the alien invasion's imminent.
My God.
Sorry, off on a tangent. I spent about 2 hours reading alien stuff last night and looking at videos of what's now been released.
Well, the thing over Las Vegas.
No, not just the balloon.
Oh.
The real things that are coming out now that have been released by, I don't know, the American government, NASA, or whatever, and they're going, yeah, actually, we don't know what it is. Nobody is saying this is an alien. Nobody is saying this is an alien. They're saying this is unidentified. We don't know what this is. It was flying, therefore is a UFO. Movies and media have linked UFO to alien. If it's identified that it's come from a super power race that is mortal, like another country that has developed something and it's just something nobody else has managed to do yet, it will no longer be a UFO. And then everyone goes, oh, we knew it wasn't aliens. Yeah, or it's a cover-up conspiracy. Sorry, back to sacrifice.
No, it's fine. It's absolutely roasting it. I am sorry, guys. Please excuse my... I feel like I'm
a touch warm.
I'm cooking in here.
Anybody got rain yet?
Oh, yeah, the other part's of sacrifice.
Oh, yeah.
If you're a born-again Christian, like I used to be, you tithe. So you have to sacrifice 10% of your earnings to the church.
Do you still have to do that?
Yeah, I still do tithing.
Really?
I think they just do it through PayPal now.
No, they don't.
Oh, my
Stop it.
I don't know.
It is very warm in here.
It is far too warm.
We just need the storm to come and then we'll get very excited.
I can assure you we're not going to be here for much longer, to be fair.
Because we're cooking.
It is cooking in here. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's joined us over the last, since the 28th of February 2021, and then this being our 100th video upload.
And considering we had a break in the middle.
We did, and that's because of the stuff I spoke about earlier. It's hard doing this when you don't have feedback in the same way as you do having a conversation with somebody. Yeah. So it's nice that currently on our screen it says there is 6 people viewing, but now that could actually be 26 or 3 because it's never 100% correct. And when you look at the sort of stats, you go, oh, excellent, because we get roughly 20 views a week. That's fine. It's where we're at. But those 20 views don't translate into 20 likes. So you sort of think, oh, okay, well, only 20 people watched. So it can be quite hard to keep motivated to do this. But I hope you've enjoyed it. A bit of a random topic.
We've done so many topics and clearly done so many discussions.
And if you watch some of them closely, my opinions have changed throughout some of those 100 videos.
Have they?
Yeah. Because I learned stuff as we've been doing it. So my opinions have changed on things.
Yeah.
my intensity as to how I explain or how I used to introduce myself as a Norse pagan. I don't do that anymore because it's got such weird connotations now
so
online.
Media-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we've given out a lot of information with very little feedback or direction from people about. We've
just spoke about what we wanted to talk about.
Occasionally a comment of, oh, can you talk about this? Or we've talked about a subject and people have gone, yeah, that's great, talk more about that. And then nothing. So it's really useful when you feedback. Just send us a message. Send it. Can you send messages through YouTube?
Yeah.
Send
Put comments
through.
Put likes. Oh, Marion said she's had a massive thunderstorm.
Nice. Do love a storm. Really need one here because it's vile. Yeah. So I've got another idea that I'm going to do, and only because we know that there are some things that are changing within the social media sites that you're not going to be able to blend between them anymore. You are only going to have to be dedicated to their site for that particular content.
Yeah, there's a certain algorithms going on to do with TikTok, Instagram, or Meta and TikTok, basically.
Yeah.
So if you want to put stuff on Instagram and you want it to do well, don't have anything to do with TikTok or
YouTube
or CapCut or whatever that one's called, or YouTube. Do the edits in Instagram. Instagram have actually assured creators that their editing suite's about to get a lot better. So we'll see whether that happens.
So we had some. I've got some ideas. I did the fairy tale, and that seemed to do surprisingly well. I do have a couple of more fairy tales that.
Excellent, you got to do them.
I know. A couple more fairy tales that I'm going to do. If you haven't seen it, because I think I only put that on TikTok. Did I? No, I put that on Facebook as well, I think.
I'm not sure.
Anyway, I'm going to do a couple more of them. And I'm also going to start a mini series on poems. Can I say what they are?
No. Because what's going to happen is you'll say what it is and then you just won't do it.
Oh, I will do it.
No, you won't.
I will do it.
No, you won't. You heard it here first.
Oh.
3 weeks from now, we'll see how many have come out.
And
this
3
is how
weeks
difficult.
From now, you're going to see just me on here because somebody else will have had an accident.
Dumb ways to die.
Yeah, for sure. So mean.
No.
Anyway, it's interesting to me, and because nobody is giving us feedback on what topics they want, subject, I'm going to just do the stuff that I like. So my focus is going to be fairy tales and the poetry.
Excellent.
If you don't want to watch it, don't watch it. If you do, I've just seen that one. Yeah, so I think I put it in other places, but it was a bit of a battle.
Excellent. Right, let's get going because it's way too hot in here.
I'm not kidding. I am physically melting.
We are melting.
Whew.
Thank you ever so much for joining us for our 100th video. We're here every Sunday at 8.
And if you didn't watch last week's, then go back, have a look, watch last week's. We did all about tarot. If you want to learn about any of the festivals, go back and look at the old videos that we've got on here.
There's 99 videos you haven't seen.
Indeed. So if you haven't already, please go back and have a watch. You're going to learn some really cool stuff and watch us bicker, which is always a joy.
Don't bicker.
All right, I have differing opinions, but you are going to hear some interesting stuff. And if it gives you the opportunity to form a different opinion that you can come on here and have a little debate with us about, please do. Please do. But
I like it when we have a guest.
Yeah, for sure. And remember, like, follow, subscribe, all the things that you need to do.
Let's quickly just double check the comments. Yeah, Marion put thank you, sounds great. Night, take care. Night, who's going to bed now?
I really want to. It's you get to a certain age where you can't be bothered.
But anyway, thank you for joining us,
Thank you,
and
lovely people.
join us again next Sunday
Wait.
at 8.
Merry part. Merry meet again.
Excellent. Just say goodbye, Penny.
Goodbye, Penny.